we're more into it. It's our whole life. It's our banking. You know what I mean? And that's why you and
Yeah.
I, we understand why XRP can't be all these things that everyone's saying, because we're in there. We're using it every day, and we also understand, how the powers that be have used finances to control people in the past.
Hmm. And also the problem is, my brother, look, we as crypto investors, right? We are so passionate, but we live in a ego chamber. Nobody understands crypto like we do because we are in it for that many years. I'm in crypto since 2016, for example, right? But if you are a XRP holder and you see yourself one of those XRP soldiers, right? One of the XRP army, then it's important for you to not live in an XRP ego chamber, because the crypto ego chamber is like we are too early, we are living in this little room. But if you close your up in a different little room which is XRP, and you're only consuming XRP news, you will never see what's going on outside that room. Because
Exactly.
if you, I mean, when I have this heated debate with the XRP army, they will tell me, yeah, but why did they integrate USDC into the XRPL? Well, that was the last one, because before XRPL, they did it with Sui and Solana, with Aptos. They went everywhere. And then the last time they went to XRPL. But because they only consume XRP news, they think it's only happening to them.
Right.
They don't understand that Ondo was first integrated. It was built on Ethereum. It was integrated to Solana and to the other projects first, and then they went to XRPL, right? And
Exactly.
there is a confusion between XRP. They will say XRP. There is not such a thing as XRP. There is such a thing as XRPL.
Right.
XRP has nothing to do with it. The token itself has nothing to do with it.
Well, it kind of does, but I get what you're saying. I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
for the gas fees,
Yeah.
yes.
And it doesn't, you know, the people that are in the XRP army or whatever, their echo chamber, all they're being fed is that this is the end all be all answer to everything, and there's nothing else out there. It has no competition. There's nothing else that can do what it does or transact like it does. And that's just not the case. And that's the whole purpose of this show. And I mean, the show's literally called The Ledger Lounge. We mainly focus on XRP, but this is a fact based show where, you know, it's about breaking echo chambers. It's about normalizing not hating each other because we have a difference of opinions. And that's the main goal of this show. Do I think XRP can make you a lot of money? Absolutely. Especially this bull run. The narrative is real. The moon cheese is real. It's quite phenomenal, and that's why I'm gonna be trading this thing like crazy. But those who are just buying it and holding it forever, they're my exit liquidity. They're the reason why I make money off of it. And so at the same time, I'm like, I feel bad. So I'm like, okay, like we have to at least wake up whoever we can. But like you said, the echo chambers are so real, they don't want to hear it. And that's why I focused the show on XRP, why I named it the Ledger Lounge, to maybe try to wake someone up, and
Yeah, and
help
you
them
are
out.
doing a great job.
Thank you, Yubi. I appreciate that.
And here's the thing, because you can be, I mean, you're real because you already made the money, right?
Right,
You don't have to shill something to get clickbait, right?
right,
You don't need to shill XRP just to have followers and put those followers into a coaching platform to get money out of them, because you already have the money,
right.
right? If you see guys that are chilling XRP, I mean, their whole following is only about XRP. They only make XRP content because they are selling that hopium. That's their marketing. That's what gets their live panels to 200 people sometimes.
Right. And
because all of these people work from 9 to 5 and they're just sick of their bosses, of their jobs. They just had like 10K and they're like, even if it goes like 500 bucks, we are going to make so much money.
right. And they have everything to profit and gain from by just pushing out the hopium because they're holding it. And I would say probably a lot of them bought it at $3 or higher, you know? And so like they have to uh get it pumped up because they need to recover. It's a
Yeah.
problem. It's a big problem. But I'll tell you what, like just because we know the truth, and I'll tell you what, most of these people will never change their mind. They will not change their mind. Um, but the hopium is so real and so prominent that this thing is gonna full send it if we go into an alt season. Okay, um, I think we will. It probably won't be as big as we've ever seen before because the liquidity will be more spread out. There's just so many projects now. It's not like it used to be. But for that reason, people won't take profits and won't get out on time because they'll be expecting it to do what it's done in the past. And then with XRP in particular, they won't take profits or get out because they'll believe that this is the new paradigm and everything's changing. The switch is getting flipped. We're going to 10K. Why would I sell at $5 or $10 or even $25? I think best case scenario, it sees $25 to $50 by 2030. And that's if the narrative doesn't get out and people don't figure out what's actually going on. But I don't think they will. I think they'll lose out on this bull run and they'll wait for the next one and say okay, and they'll just accumulate it. And when it runs the next time, it won't do as much either. And they'll be like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to go parabolic? And they'll hold this thing all the way to the bottom. They will diamond hand the shit out of this thing. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm counting on. That's what I'm, you know, um, and you should count on it too, chat. Count on the fact that the hopium is real and the narrative being pushed is so strong that this coin is going to do amazing things and it's going to make you filthy rich. But is it going to be used the way um, everyone's speculating? It's more likely that it won't. What do you think?
I 100% agree. Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, that's why I'll trade this thing. I'm good with it. I mean, look at it, what it's doing right now. Basically, since when was this? This is December. It's basically been running sideways. That's pretty incredible. And I'd say right now it's trading between like 150 and 250. That's a good spread, baby. That is
Yeah,
good.
if I'm looking at all these charts, every crypto that I was holding before I sold it, and I'm still holding a huge portion of cryptos, but XRP is one of those cryptos that held very steady and very stable, and that's bullish for me. Like that, I mean, people that bought into XRP, they are not planning to sell it until they are seeing a certain price,
Right.
right?
Look at the chat. Champagne Schooner says 200 USD per XRP this bull run. No, no way. If it does, I will personally allow you to come up here and roast me. It ain't gonna do it.
I actually have some bet with people about XRP. I told them like, hey, look, me against all you guys on the panel. There was like 6, 7 people. I was like, if XRP surpasses $5, right? I'm gonna give each of you 5K. And I didn't say that because I don't
I
believe
was
that
there.
it can't surpass. Oh, you was there?
I was there.
But it was, yeah, it was more like I wanted to have somebody. from the XRP army telling me, Yubi, look, if you can put 5K, I will put 5K. But they didn't say that. They was like, oh, you only expect one XRP? If you win, oh, I will do that. But I was like, oh, that's your conviction about XRP? That's how much you have conviction in XRP?
Exactly.
Because if you really think that it can go to $50, why can't you put like 5 grand? Because if you put 5 grand, I will put 10 grand, right?
Right.
And that was the thing. And can it go above $5? Of course it can, right? It's still realistic. I
I,
will lose, I think, 35K on that bet, but that I brought entertainment, and it's entertainment. Right now, everybody is biting in their thumb thumbnail, like, who?
yeah.
What's going to happen? Is he going to win? Is he going to lose?
I feel like $8 would be the top, maybe nine. I don't think it actually gets to $10. And if it does, it will hit it and it'll wick way back
Mm-hmm.
down to like $8, like very quickly. It's one of those psychological numbers that is like the $3 number. It's going to take so much work to get past $3. Same thing with $5. That's why I kind of agree with the $5 sentiment that you have, because as soon as it hits that $5 mark, a lot of people are going to sell. I'm going to sell. You know, I'm going
Yeah.
to leave some in there for a moon bag in case it does go. But I'll tell you what, when it hits $10, I'm out. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And that's the most bullish case. Like $10 is bullish above bullishness.
Yeah, and dude, I someone saying going off market cap, like the market cap is already so high. It would
I
take
was just about to. I was just about to bring that up. Like
yeah,
market cap does matters. Yeah.
yeah, it does matter. And everybody says like, "Oh, well there's the multiplier on this thing." And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Network effects, right? White cough. What is that? White cough. White cough.
Wyckoff
White
method.
cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I don't
I'm
use
like, dude.
any of
Like,
that crap, dude. Like, nope.
if Einstein was alive and you will tell him like market cap doesn't matter, he will had a heart attack like 3 times that second. Like you just,
Yeah.
it's just mad.
I just don't get it. And on top of that, you have Ripple holding this massive supply of XRP. And UB, did you know that Ripple restructured the escrow?
No.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know that. Ripple restructured their escrow in April. April, they released, normally it was 1 billion tokens were released, and then they would put 750 million back into the escrow, right?
Mm.
So now what they do, I think in April they released 250 billion and put nothing back into the escrow, moved it into private wallets.
Mm.
And then in May, I want to say it was like 200 billion XRP was put into private wallets. I may be wrong on that number on what May's was, but it was more, and they put all of it into these private wallets. Okay, so what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
I mean,
Sounds
it's
like a run
already in
to me,
play.
man.
Yeah, it's already in play. I mean, look, there's this documentary about a hedge fund manager, and he made a fatal mistake in the early 2000 .com bubble, and he kept it as a secret so that he keeps the trust of his clients, right? But at that point, the whole hedge fund became a pyramid scheme because
Hmm.
he took new clients, and with the new clients' investments, they paid the old clients,
Yeah,
right? And in 2008, it came to light, and they flipped the switch on his ass, and he went to jail.
yeah,
And that whole company went into shambles.
yeah,
But the guy himself, he didn't start it as a fraud. It was just his ego. he didn't want to tell his investors that he lost the money,
That's
right?
Michael Saylor,
Because of
man.
his ego. And if it goes this path, if it goes this path, Brett Garlinghouse is facing the same problem
Hmm?
because he's keeping the price stable enough to sell even more. We are going to buy Circle. The price goes up, boom, he sells.
Yeah, look
We
at
have another picture with Donald Trump, right? And if you have that's a slow work on the community. But if something happens, for example, right, and everybody starts to sell of XRP, now that is going to be a ripple effect, right?
yep,
Just like what happened with that hedge fund manager that I was just talking about 5 minutes ago. His name, you know what the name was? Bernie Madoff.
Bernie Madoff.
He
Yeah,
didn't start it as a fraud. Yeah, he was a legit guy, very successful.
yeah. Same thing's going to happen with Michael Saylor and Bitcoin. It's at least in my opinion, that's what I'm seeing right now. I want to address. So Champagne Schooner says, "What if the U.S. takes over all escrow from Ripple? That'll never happen. That'll never happen. Why would Ripple just give their escrow the um, to the government? They have everything to gain from holding all the coins. What do you think, UB?
Um, they can do it so they can take the company public, right? Because they still have to get rid of that 40%,
Right?
right? If they get rid of it by saying, I'm going to give it to the United States, the government itself, right? Then they can take the company public. Because if they take the company public, they can generate a lot of money. But XRP is not going to benefit from it because all the transaction fees goes to Ripple, the company itself.
Exactly.
But if you keep the 40%, then you want to keep the money within the XRP so you can sell the 40%.
Yeah.
That's how you
Either
make
way,
money.
it doesn't help
Either way.
the holder.
Yeah.
Champagne Schooner says XRP escrow backed by gold. Trump says the golden age. Now you're just reading between lines, man. You're just hearing what you want to hear. What do you think about that, UB? That comment?
Well, there's this yeah, it's
Trump will
just
take it by force, is what he says. No way. No way. Y'all are
I
eating the
mean, they can
moochies.
pack XRP to the gold just before 1971, and I see that maybe going to $10,000, but I don't see that actually from happening though.
Yeah, I don't either. The, um, TikTok seller says it, and yeah, this is probably the most bearish indication I've ever seen. This is a triple top here for XRP at 233. You see it, UB?
Mm-hmm.
That thing's coming down. And we're coming into the end of the month where everyone's about to sell off because they know Ripple's about to dump on them, and Ripple's about to dump on. And here's the thing: is maybe Ripple moves it into the wallet, right? And doesn't really dump too much. Obviously, they're going to take probably a lot this time as far as sell off goes, because I think that they're going to need that money to pay that hefty fine they got. What is it, 125 million? So they're
I
going to
guess
have to
so.
sell that plus whatever they need to operate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a heck of a lot more than 125 million they sell off. I would assume half a billion minimum they're going to sell off, if not more, maybe a billion or more. What do you think it costs to operate Ripple per month?
I really don't know that.
Right, I'd have to speculate. Hey, Jesse, can you fact check for us and find out how much it costs for Ripple to operate each month. So if they sell off, let's say that they don't sell off and they're hoping to accumulate this and wait for it to run hard and then sell it off, right? It's still coming down to 215, but I believe that it's coming to at least $2 again. Has to. What do you think? You read the charts, UB, or are you just into crypto?
Oh, I'm also into charts though. That can definitely happen, but yeah, I actually am bullish on the markets right now because I think we are merging up for the third mini alt season, right? Not the full blown alt season, but just the third mini alt season. I mean, can we have some news that popping off and Donald Trump is running his mouth on Twitter? Of course, the price can dump to $2. Yes, but if it's about the selling of XRP, I really don't know about that. But
I'm actually
yes, we can see a dump.
I'm really bullish too. I'm looking for my entry point right now, or like you
Mm-hmm.
said, the mini alt season. I do think it's coming. I'm thinking about 215 would be my entry on XRP for this one,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's going to retrace back because the end of the month, and I've been waiting. I probably should have got it at 190, but I was like, this looked like a head and shoulders here. I was like, it could probably come down more. So I didn't, I was like, I'm gonna wait for confirmation, but I'm starting to get that confirmation that we could potentially be seeing um, at least 265. I think it does 280 maybe in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
What was the all-time high of that of XRP?
340.
340. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, obviously, I have you heard my speculation on alt season yet?
Tell me, I want to hear about it.
Okay, so I think we have two situations that we could possibly see. Um, one is Bitcoin does not lose dominance, and we don't get an alt season, and I'm calling it the simul cycle or the unicycle, where everything just kind of runs with Bitcoin and follows it the way it's been doing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we get, and that's what it is. And I'm kind of leaning that direction. However, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But that is one option. And the reason I think that is with all these new institutions buying up Bitcoin, with all these, not just the US's government, but governments across the world are creating Bitcoin strategic reserves, and companies are creating strategic reserves. States are creating strategic reserves, and it's all for Bitcoin. And they're going to be buying it up and putting them into escrows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, there's a probability that that holds the line and it doesn't really lose dominance, right? And then alt season happens because Bitcoin loses its value and all that money has to go somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. However, um, I do think we do see an alt season because people have to have it. They have they need it, right? And um, because people want something or believe in something, it makes it a reality. So I'm leaning towards we get a bit of an altcoin season, but like I said, the liquidity is more spread out, so it won't be like what we're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is, let's say that you know how everybody's talking about this super cycle thing, right?
Yeah.
So my other speculation is okay, because I want to look at let's think about how would it happen if there was a super cycle. Is we would Bitcoin would run, right? Not lose dominance, and we would get like a pump into like September for the alts, and then that would be it, right? and Bitcoin just kind of like stays up, but obviously it'll come down. I'm thinking like to like 75K, or and that's it. And then it starts climbing again. And alts get their run, and then it's kind of over right after that. And everyone goes to sleep and says, "All right, see you in 4 years," right? And down the road, sometime next year, Bitcoin finally loses dominance, and all that money, and I think it's fueled by the stablecoin bill, because I don't know if you know about like Tether, right? So Tether is basically printing stablecoins out of thin air and pumping it into Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
artificially inflating the price of Bitcoin. And so for every $100 in Bitcoin, it's only backed by $1.
Yeah.
So with the stablecoin bill, it ends up causing because I'm thinking like it's going to take time, okay? Because yeah, they're talking about, oh, maybe the end of the year we get the stablecoin bill, yada yada yada. Well, with legislation and regulation, the next step is investigation, and it'll take time for that investigation to happen, and then Tether is delisted, the truth comes out, and everybody abandons ship on Bitcoin. And it flows into the altcoins next year, and everybody will be thinking that the cycle is over. See you in 4 years. They'll get out and they'll be sidelined, and then all that money flows in, and it just takes off this crazy super cycle because Bitcoin crashes to, let's say, realistically 25K, but it could potentially go down to like 10K. And that would be the makings of the super cycle. And I think a lot of people would miss out on it because they'd see we have the little cycle that I think is about to happen from August to September, and then that's it. And then they're like, go to sleep, see you in 4 years. Why keep my money in crypto? There's no point. I'll do something else with it. And they'll get sidelined. And then that's when like big things start happening and everyone will be priced out. What do you think?
Yeah. So you're actually saying the all season can happen in the first and the second quarter of 2026, right?
Or in like the third and fourth.
That was actually what I was saying for like the last 6 months.
Dude, I've
Now,
been saying that for like the last 6 months too, man.
yeah,
That's awesome,
because
dude.
the problem is right, and I feel the speculation because you, I mean, if I hear you talking, I see that you're here like for a long time in crypto, right? You understand everything because a lot of people they look at the past data and
Mm.
they hold this 4 year cycle so strong, right? But the 4 year cycle is existing because of global liquidity is injected every 4 years. But
And
what if
also
they
the
just
Bitcoin halving every 4 years. That's what
yes,
really sparks it.
yeah. But here's the thing though. Now, in the past cycles, we didn't have ETFs. We didn't have micro strategy type companies and all the other companies that are following the footsteps of MicroStrategy, right? Michael Saylor. Now, if all these companies buying Bitcoin, they will never sell their Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs to go on Coinbase and speculate in crypto, in altcoins. I don't think we are going to see that rotation just like in the past cycles. But I understand that Michael Saylor is taking risk above risk because only thing he's doing is buying Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
He's using that as a collateral to buy even more Bitcoin, and his
Mm-hmm.
average buy is 90,000, 80,000. What if the price goes down? That means he's going to get liquidated. and
Exactly.
he holds that much Bitcoin. If that goes into shambles, and the other companies are doing the same thing because now it's a trend, right?
Hmm.
Hey, did you saw what happened with MicroStrategy, the stock? We are going to do the same thing. And if all these prices, let's say that Bitcoin retraces to 70,000, that means everybody is going to get liquidated because they still have to pay the loan.
Exactly.
And if
And
that happens and there is a mass selling, there's going to be a huge problem. Bitcoin can only go down from that point.
exactly.
And I was actually speculating we can see 30, 35, 40,000, right? On Bitcoin because you still have those ETFs and you have like these boomers, they will keep accumulate, of course. And I think that is going to happen so that the elites have the last chance to buy even more. Because you have to
Hmm.
understand also there is a lot of institutions that got sidelined because they didn't believe in Bitcoin, right?
Agreed.
They saw what happened with the Bitcoin ETFs and they're like, ah, I wish I bought it, right? So they will get the price down to 30, $40,000. Yes, I believe that. Now the altcoins, right? If we look at the Bitcoin dominance, we are sitting at 70%. If we exclude the stable coins, we are
Here, I'll
sitting
pull
at
it up
what,
right now.
65% with including stable coins.
I got
Now I
Bitcoin
think we
dominance right
can,
here.
yeah, I think we can go to 70% including the stable coins.
I
But
agree.
the problem that I see is just what you told, right? If they are not willing to sell their bitcoins to rotate it back to altcoins, right? And we don't see um, retail investors returning into crypto, that is going to be a huge problem.
Oh yeah.
And the social risk metrics shows that there is not a lot of social interest. If you look at that chart, we are sitting at the lows of 2020.
Hmm.
There is no new liquidity from the retail. It's all institutions, and institutions are sitting in Bitcoin. Now,
Exactly.
my hope is, right? Everything is built on Ethereum. Now they only have two ETFs. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Now, in order for you as a hedge fund to dip the toes of traditional investors, you have to pitch uh, the most secure one, and that's Bitcoin, and it's pitched as digital gold, right?
Right.
But then you have Ethereum, and that is going to be pitched as a place where you can build on it so
Digital
they can
silver.
sell another product. Yes. And I think if Ethereum explodes because of those ETFs, all the coins that are built on Ethereum, they will do like 10, 15, 20 axis, and that will bring maybe retail in. But that is going to happen in the first, maybe in the second quarter,
You know what the
because
charts are
Jerome Powell
telling me on
has
Ethereum
still,
here? I
yeah.
see a diamond top, which
What does that
means
mean?
diamond top is this pattern right here
Mm-hmm.
on Ethereum, which
Mm-hmm.
means that September Ethereum's coming back down to like 1800.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good.
Um, I was bearish for the fourth quarter because people think in the fourth quarter the alt season is going to happen. I think July and August can maybe a good amount because we just left all this bearishness. Tariff negotiations are taking place right now. The conflict in the Middle East got ended, so I think we are heading to a relief rally. But I think we are
Maybe.
going to see some bearishness
So what I'm
in the
seeing
fourth
though,
quarter.
is I actually have the news articles right here. I think it's this one. I'll just read the headlines because we're going on this one. So, where is it here? So we're a little bullish right now because Canada dropped the tech tax progress for trade talks, right? So Trump was like, we're not even talking to Canada, right? Now all of a sudden they're talking, they're making deals. So this looks bullish. But then if you're looking at the full scope of what's going on with tariffs, Trump is threatening Japan with new tariffs, claiming it won't buy America's rice. Okay, so we're looking at possible tariff hikes with Japan, and then right here it says Trump says not planning to extend tariff pause after July 9th, says Donald Trump. India's trade team extends U.S. stay. And then it says right here, India is seeking full exemption from the additional 26% reciprocal tariff announced by the U.S. on April 2nd. While the tariff was suspended for 90 days, the 10% baseline tariff imposed by Washington remains in place. Should negotiations fail to conclude by July 8th, India might encounter renewed tariff pressures. And then EU is prepared to accept Trump's universal tariff but seeks key exemptions. So the EU has already said that if they don't get what they want, they're going to do retaliatory tariffs. And it's mainly like Spain and Germany or France. I can't remember. It was Spain and someone else. They're talking about retaliatory tariffs. So if that doesn't happen, we're going to see a 50% tariff on the EU again. And if they retaliate, they said that they would put a 500% tariff on the US.
Mm-hmm.
And which I bet you Donald Trump isn't going to like that, and he's going to retaliate. So it's still kind of in the air. And also the rate cuts thing. People are expecting rate cuts to come here in July, but the Fed has basically said they're not going to probably do it till September. So it looks bullish, but at the same time, I'm not completely convinced, man. I think that there's a potential that come, beginning of July, we see the whole tariff problem all over again. And we see interest rates not get cut. So if that happens, expect that one last fear narrative. And that's why I'm still in stable coins right now, because I kind of want to see what happens. I think things are running right now because the main news that's being pumped out is that we're making trade deals and we're about to get rate cuts. But more news is saying that we're going to get retaliatory tariffs and we're going to get no rate cuts. So that's why I think it's bullish right now. It's the moon cheese, right? Everyone's, buy the rumor, sell the news. I think when the news comes, man, it's going to be a nasty, nasty tank. And then on top of it, you said that the war was over with Iran. That's not over yet either. So we have the Ukraine war, obviously. And then Iran, it says Iran back at it again, begins repairs at the Fordow nuclear site just days after U.S. bombing satellite photos show. So Iran is not, is showing that they could potentially be gearing up their nuclear program again. And then Trump suspends negotiations with Iran after defiant speech with the Ayatollah. This war has been going on for thousands of years. You would know that, obviously, because you're from Turkey.
Yes.
This kind of thing doesn't get settled overnight.
No, it's just the de-escalation just happened because Donald Trump said ceasefire is ceasefire. I don't want you to have problems because I mean, the problem is he has to de-escalate it fast because he doesn't want to invade Iran just like Iraq and Libya because that
Right.
was a huge mistake, and he already spoke about this.
It'd be another 20
But
year war.
of course, but Donald Trump, he wants to force Jerome Powell's hand to lower those interest rates. That didn't happen, so he has to please Jerome Powell's hand by negotiating with China and for those tariffs.
Right.
But if you have a conflict in a place that's holding a lot of oil and controlling the sea, so the cargo ships, if it escalates even further, that means that's going to put a big smile on Jerome Powell's face because that means even more inflation. That's
Exactly.
why Donald Trump said, okay, you guys want that nuclear facilities done? Okay, done. I'm going to fly over there. Done, finished. Okay, good. Israel, you're happy. You're happy. Okay, good. So de-escalation happened. Of course, those war is like going on for like thousands of years, right? But I don't think we are going to escalate this problem in the Middle East even further.
I agree.
And the problem is with those tariffs, right? Those 90-day pause is going to end, I think, between a few days. But Donald Trump, he said, I don't mind to delay it even further. And that's why we saw a rally in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. We put a new all-time high because he said so. And the market is leaning towards that he's going to delay it even further. So he doesn't mess with Jerome Powell's emotions. Because Jerome Powell, he said to himself, if Donald Trump didn't put those tariff policies, I was already lowering those interest rates like months ago. And Donald Trump is like, okay, if you're talking that way, let me do my thing with those tariffs. So I think he's going to delay it even further because if he doesn't, and you get a backlash from other countries, then Jerome Powell is going to be like, okay, uncertainty means uncertainty. I'm not going to lower those interest rates.
I agree.
And I think Donald Trump is going to get that pat on delaying it even further. But that's why I'm saying like he can delay it even to September. But still that bearishness has to come because how much can you delay it though?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what you are saying. I mean, the fourth quarter, I don't think that there is going to all season in the fourth quarter. That's why people expect, and that's where the people is going to get fooled because you're looking at past cycles, but that's only two data, right?
Hmm.
You just can't speculate on what happened in the past two cycles. That's just two data that you have. That
Exactly.
doesn't mean nothing.
And everyone's clinging to that like it's this amazing data that you can rely on. And it's like, I don't even think Ethereum is as relevant as it used to be. I think it's expensive and slow, but it's secure. So it does have that going for it. It's the most secure blockchain. But
Yes.
can we really use Ethereum as a gauge anymore? Because what if XRP or a different alt ends up being that one that we should be using to gauge? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's why they have layer twos on top of it. I mean, I'm so bullish on the base chain. Uh, Not because it's fast, but all those things that they have going on, like for example, Eurodrome.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you heard
you
of
can stake
SXT?
Bitcoin. SS, which one is that? Also
Space and
built on
time.
base? Is that is that built on base?
It's built on the Ethereum network, and it is um, partnered with Microsoft and Chainlink.
Mm.
And its utility is that it's off chain data verification. So it's kind of like Quant, but Quant operates on the blockchain, whereas
Mm-hmm.
SXT can verify data off of the blockchain. So you can store data without it ever being like hacked by like quantum computing.
Oh, I have to do some research on that one, man.
Oh yeah, dude. It
Yeah,
just came
yeah,
out
yeah.
May 8th.
Mm-hmm.
It's so new, and every person that I tell about it that's like a creator or whatever, they're like, "No, I've never heard of it." I'm like, "Dude, go check it out." Next thing you know, I get a message like either like an hour or a day later, and they're like, "Dude, I'm totally buying this."
Yeah, I have to do some research on that one because, yeah.
Yeah, check it out, man. You can thank me later.
Of course, man.
All right, but I'm gonna get into the news and stuff. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. You're always welcome here.
Hey, thank you, man. That was one of the most productive conversations that I had in the last months. Because with all those heated conversations about XRP, it drives me nuts sometimes. But hey,
No
I
one wants to
appreciate
hear
the
the truth, man.
compliments, man. You just put it me on the spot right now. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
thank you for the conversation, brother.
Of course, brother. All right, take care.
Take care, my man.
All right. I love UB. Make sure you give him a follow. He's always in the panels, man, and he is just on fire in there. I love hearing UB talk to all the XRP maxis. It's kind of fun. You know what's a conversation if you don't have somebody rebuttaling what you have to say, and it's just an echo chamber of the same nonsense. It's great. Milfshake says me too. Yeah, right? Like awesome stuff. So we covered some of this news. I lost some of it though. It won't pull up here. Let me see. I don't know what's going on here. Something's wrong with can't seem to pull this up. There we go. I got it. Wait, no, that's not it either. Shoot, I lost all the news. I can see it right here. Bear with me for a second, ladies and gentlemen. I can see it. Oh, there it is. That's why. Okay. So let's look at the news here. So Ripple highlights XRP ledger advancements powering institutional blockchain adoption. How convenient that this is put out the day we're about to tank. But you know, there's some good news. We don't have to be so like against XRP. We want to look at both sides, and so let's take a listen to this article.
Institutional DeFi enters a powerful new phase as the XRP ledger activates a permissioned DEX, fusing compliance and decentralization to enable real-world blockchain finance access. XRP Ledger powers new permission DEX to enable institutional DeFi access. A landmark shift in decentralized finance, DeFi, is unfolding as institutional access expands through on-ledger compliance frameworks, setting the stage for real-world financial integrations on blockchain. Ripple shared on June 25 in a blog post that the XRP Ledger, XRPL, now supports a permissioned decentralized exchange model tailored for regulated institutions. The new functionality is designed to offer identity-controlled trading environments, allowing fintechs, banks, and payment providers to transact within a regulatory framework. Ripple highlighted the advancement, launching alongside other on-chain finance features. Permissioned DEX enables regulated institutions to trade or move value on the XRPL Decentralized Exchange (DEX) without compromising on compliance, scalability, or decentralization. The permissioned DEX model introduces rule-based access via permissioned domains, enabling credentialed participants to access specific markets. Ripple explained, this structure ensures that only authorized participants can match trades, addressing institutional concerns over Know Your Customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering, AML, compliance. Because the DEX is native to XRPL and not reliant on smart contracts, liquidity remains consolidated and infrastructure is streamlined. The framework is particularly suited to institutional applications like B2B payments, stablecoin conversions for payroll, and corporate treasury management. Underpinned by pending standards such as verifiable credentials and controlled domains, the model delivers regulatory readiness while preserving decentralization. With this launch, Ripple advances the XRPL's capability to support institutional-grade DeFi, positioning it as a compliant and scalable financial layer for tokenized economies.
All right, so a little bit of moon cheese there. They come out with this stuff right before it's about to dump. I'll tell you what, when you're hearing everything positive news about XRP, get ready for a dump. All right. When you hear nothing but bearish news, get ready for a pump. It's always the opposite. Big Baller, thank you for the heart me. UB, thank you for the 5-year awesomes. Revolution, thank you for the 18 goats. Mother of Dragons with the community crown ×2. Mother of Dragons with the popular vote. Revolution sent to UB, and thank you for the gifts for UB as well. Everyone that sent gifts to UB. Revolution, thank you for the community crown. Neo with the 9 community fests. What else we have here? Neo with Marvelous Confetti ×3. TikTok seller with the 3 popular votes. Neo with the club's cheers. TikTok seller with the heart me. Scotty with the 21 community fest. Joe with the 10 community fest. Danny Gibson with 10 community fest. TikTok seller with 9 roses. Kodak 59 with a rose. Scotty with the, where'd it go? With the summer sun and a heart me. Revolution with the 6 roses. Akram with the heart me. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. Seamont with the hat and mustache, and Kodak with a rose. Thank you guys so much for helping us achieve these goals and bring in some revenue. We've earned $3.42. We are raking it over here, baby. But thank you guys. What you give is incredible. It helps with the algorithm. So it's much appreciated, everything that you give. And if you can't give, remember, you can always just hit the like button. That is just as helpful. TikTok puts you on the gift banana. Oh my God. Almost ready for a gallon of gas. I know, right? Almost got enough for a gallon of gas. Getting close, getting close. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, and not just share the live, but tell your friends. Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers. Spread the word of this show, and we will grow. Big Baller, thank you for the 50 goats. I appreciate you. And those of you that have sent donations as well through the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, thank you very much. That is the best way to support the show. That money goes to paying the staff, and you guys give substantially so much more that way. And 100% of the revenue goes to the show. And I obviously I spend way more than what we make for paying the staff, but that helps offset those costs. Seamont with a bubbling heart. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you guys. All right. XRP Solana Cardano multi-asset ETF approval highly likely this week. Big Baller, thank you for the hat and mustache. So they're saying ETF this week. I don't know. I'm not buying it. Maybe. I think it's definitely possible. And with these ETFs, it's going to be bullish. All right. This is good news. All right. And I am leaning a bit bullish. I mean, I probably should have the green light on, but I don't think I think we're going to get a bit of a pullback here at the beginning of the month, and then we will see that pump coming. So I don't want people to buy right now. So I have the white light on, but we are edging towards that bullish push, in my opinion. Kodak, thank you for the rose and the chili. And Seamont, thank you for the level up sparks. I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't sent a heart me yet, send a heart me. We've raised $5.62. We've got a gallon of premium gas, baby. Heck yeah. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission enters the final stretch of its reviewing of Grayscale Investments' bid to convert the 176 million digital large cap fund which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano into the exchange trade fund. These coins that get these ETFs are going to run. If we get an alt season, these are the ones that are going to run. All right. So make a little note, jot it down. I think XRP and Solana are going to do quite well. I think they're going to do quite well. I think XRP will probably outperform Solana, though. And that's just based off of the narrative, man. The moon cheese is strong. It is some strong, smelly, stinky cheese for XRP. And I'm banking on that. I'm banking on the fact that even if XRP doesn't have any utility, it doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter right now. It's gonna pump. It doesn't even matter. The news is bearish news and people think it's good news. That is a strong indication, man, right there. Check out Anduril Industries IPO coming soon for Ripple. Yeah, I'll look into it. Send me a DM about it, and I'll cover it more. Actually, Jesse, can you look into Anduril Industries? It's in the chat by Big Baller. It's an IPO, so it's a stock, not a cryptocurrency. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll mic you in, and let's find out a little bit about that. Whatever you can find. Obviously, it's not going to be what we're normally looking for with cryptocurrencies, but let's find out what connection it has with Ripple and what it is exactly. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll mic you in. Oh, shoot, I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm trying to save all this. I'm trying to save all these, and I just haven't had a chance to even put them in anywhere and do, because I'm trying to create like a fact-checking type website thing, and it's just so much work. I just don't have the time to do it, but I think it's necessary. Robinhood expands its global push minutes from crypto chief's old cramped apartment in Cairns. Robinhood, the crypto GM, John Corbett, returned to his hometown for the company's most serious push yet to blend traditional finance with blockchain-based infrastructure. Robinhood is offering tokenized U.S. stocks and ETFs across Europe, crypto staking in the U.S., perpetual futures for eligible EU traders, and a new Layer 2 blockchain. The announcement, timed with the new European license and Ethereum Community Conference, marks Robinhood's biggest international crypto expansion to date. I'm seeing a lot of bullish news, okay? Expanding its range and adding more money into our cryptos. I agree. I think we get one little pullback here, and then we're probably going to full send. Yeah, crypto is going to pump soon. I think we get, for XRP in particular, it's going to get that end of the month here sell-off. I think it's kind of already starting to do it. But yeah, I'm bullish right now. I'm definitely bullish. I think we're gonna start seeing some good movement, and I'm excited for that. I really am. I'm tired of being the bear of bad news. Literally the bear. Um, we're due. We're due for some good price action. We're due for it. It's just been bad narrative after bad narrative. I'm feeling it. Even Yubi's feeling it. You know, he's saying the same thing I am about XRP. But he's still bullish on it. Are we going to pull back in the middle of July? It's possible, but I think we pull back today, tomorrow, maybe, and we find that entry point, and I think we're going to pump at least until like the 10th or the 12th, according to the moon cycle, and maybe more after that, but maybe we get a pullback from there and we keep going. We shall see. But I'll tell you what, usually around this time frame, beginning of July, end of July, mid July, August, that's when things start happening. Okay? The sell in May go away is done. Everything kind of hits its bottom, and then you jump in and you wait. Yeah, we're getting soon to our entry points. I'm pretty sure you'll be sending emails. Yes. And I will let you guys know. I'll be like, hey, I sold all my stable coins, y'all. Then you're gonna know. Like it'll be on. I'm just waiting for that last little pullback. And I want to get into XRP. I know before I was like, no. After all the news that has come out about XRP and how much it just didn't affect anything, it actually made it send. I was like, okay, this is a good indication. This is a good indication. XRP is going to do phenomenal this bull run. Maybe not long term. It's not going to 10K, but it's going to do some amazing stuff, and I'm excited for that. Will you hold XRP long term or sell and rebuy? I will. I already sold and rebought. Okay, I'm holding moon bags, but I will buy some. And as soon as it runs, I'm going to be taking profits at every psychological point. And then once it starts to pull back, I'm out. I'm not going to be holding long term on this one. That is not a good strategy whatsoever. That's not how crypto works. You don't buy it and hold it and expect to make money. Okay, you make money because it's volatility. It swings so much. You trade it. The people that actually make money in crypto are trading it. The people that tell you to just buy it and hold it, you're their exit liquidity, or they don't know what they're talking about. Butchie Boy says, KK, it's my first bull run and I bought it cheap a while back. Dude, if it's your first bull run, highly recommend you become a deluxe subscriber. I offer one-on-one coaching where we can create a strategy based off of your portfolio, your specific needs, and I will do technical analysis on demand for whatever projects you're at. And this way you will be profitable and make sure that you retain those profits as well. Highly recommend it. Become a deluxe subscriber, and that goes for everybody, okay? If you are not a deluxe subscriber, take advantage, okay? You're not going to find anyone that does one-on-one coaching and on-demand technical analysis 5 days a week for anyone for $10 a month, okay? It's $9.99. And if you can't afford that, I put out the price points for regular basic subscribers so you can get that information for XRP. What's up, ABSXS Writer? How you doing? Senate committee creates framework for crypto market structure bill. This is awesome. Okay, so remember how I've been saying like, oh, they're they're putting out this bill for the stable coins and everything, and they're not really focusing on whether or not cryptos are securities or commodities and all that stuff. We finally have it. Been trying to learn how to trade and read the charts. I also offer a technical analysis class as well, which is separate. So if you become a subscriber, or if you're interested in learning technical analysis, send me a DM and I'll get you signed up. I have one more spot. One more spot for the technical analysis class. I mean, if maybe one or two other people want to sign up after that, I may allow it. But I do want to keep the number of people small so that it can be more, because it's going to be like a classroom and you're going to be able to actually talk to me through the Discord, and or you can chat if you want, but you'll be able to voice chat and stuff. And I don't want it to get too overwhelming, because the idea is to get you learning how to do the technical analysis, learn it, and be on your way and get a new class started, and not just lead you on and milk you for money. That's not what it's about. It's about teaching you to get good at this quickly so that you can start making those trades. All right, so let's read about this Senate committee bill thing. Okay, so Republican senators on Tuesday, June 24th, unveiled a set of principles to serve as a framework for development of legislation for digital assets. Senate Banking Chairman Tim Scott, Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Cynthia Lumen, Tom Dillis, Bill Haggerty are spearheading the efforts. These principles will serve as an important baseline for negotiations on the bill, and I'm hopeful my colleagues will put politics aside and provide long overdue clarity for digital asset regulation, Scott said in a statement. According to the framework, the bill will define when crypto is a commodity or a security, clearly delineate jurisdiction among regulators, and lighten the Security and Exchange Commission's regulation of digital currencies, among other stipulations. The principles also highlight the need for modernizing regulations that foster innovation and target illicit finance measures. The lawmakers also called for federal regulators to take common sense steps to respond to responsible innovation. The provide clear guidance affirming that many crypto-related activities are permissible for banks and other financial institutions. Their effort comes as lawmakers seek to build on bipartisan progress made last week when the Senate passed a bill regulating stablecoins. That measure saw support from nearly all Republicans and 18 Democrats. Speaking on the Senate floor after that vote, Loomis said the stablecoin bill is only the first step, urging lawmakers to complete work on a more comprehensive market structure bill this year, according to CNBC. The House version of the broader market structure legislation advanced through to committee. Okay, so we already know about what happened with the stablecoin bill. This is bullish as hell. This is what I've been waiting for. All right. This is what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's going to take time for all this stuff, but this is good news. And a lot of people don't even really know about this stuff. Even other creators, they don't know about this because it's not actually a bill yet, but they've created a structured framework. They're actually going to decide whether cryptos are securities or commodities. And this is amazing. This is amazing. AB Ryder, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate you. Simon, thank you for the 25 popular votes. All right. So this is awesome. This is amazing stuff. Okay, so we kind of covered this earlier. Canada drops tech tax to progress trade talks. Let's take a listen to it.
A Canadian tax targeting US big tech is scrapped at the last minute. Hello, this is the Marketplace Morning Report, and we're live from the BBC World Service. I'm Leanna Byrne. Good morning. So Canada has scrapped its planned Digital Services Tax, or DST, just hours before it was due to take effect after President Donald Trump threatened to end trade talks over the issue. The BBC's Ian McWilliam reports.
The Canadian Department of Finance said in a statement that the digital services tax would be rescinded in anticipation of a comprehensive trade arrangement with the United States. The planned tax would have hit major US tech companies, including Amazon, Meta and Apple. Ottawa said it was introduced because large technology companies operating in Canada would otherwise not pay tax on revenues generated there. President Trump's threatened new tariffs, however, would have thrown US-Canada trade into chaos again after months of relative calm.
That was Ian McWilliam reporting. Earlier, I spoke to Carleen Varian, Associate Vice President at Summa Strategies and a former Chief of Staff to then Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
This is not just a Donald Trump and Republican grievance. Under President Biden, his U.S. trade representative frequently raised the issue of the DST with Canadian counterparts as a point of disagreement and something that was a challenge for the trading relationship. But I think the president likes to create some drama at the 11th hour, and this is the moment when the tax would have been implemented.
Is that a dangerous precedent, though, if what Trump wants is going to push what Canadian lawmakers do?
It is a bit complex in that way. I think you see a division among Canadian businesses. On the one hand, Canadians don't want to see themselves punished by the U.S. for a tax that has nothing to do with them. But at the same time, you also have businesses who I think directly are impacted by this. And that's because many of the tech companies are choosing to pass on the digital services tax directly to their customers.
Carleen Varian, thank you so much for joining us in Marketplace.
Thank you for having me.
Now, while Canada's trading relationship with the US is still up in the air, a UK-US trade deal, which has lowered some tariffs on imports coming in from Britain, is coming in today. Car manufacturers will now be able to export to the US with a reduced 10% tariff, and 10% tariffs have been fully removed from aircraft parts and engines. Nigel Redwood is the managing director of Revolution Race Cars, based in Peterborough in the east of England.
It does make a substantial difference. So at Revolution Race Cars, we're a low volume race car manufacturer that export probably about 65% of our revenues to the USA. So the increase in tariff had a big impact on our customer base and was very unsettling for the last 6 months.
That was Nigel Redwood, the boss of the UK racing car manufacturer Revolution Race Cars. But there's still no breakthrough on steel and aluminium. The US continues to impose a 25% tax on those imports, and unless a deal is struck soon, that could soon double to 50% on July 9th. It's a major worry for UK steelmakers like Tata, who say the uncertainty is already hurting their business. Now, let's do the numbers. China's main stock markets bounced back today on hopes trade talks with the US will hold. The CSI closed up 0.3%, and European shares are mostly in the red as investors keep tabs on signs of progress on trade talks ahead of the July 9th deadline. Now, there's been a bit of controversy in the fashion industry. The Italian fashion house Prada has acknowledged that its new sandal design is Indian-inspired after its Milan run.
All right, that's enough of that. So I think things are still in the air with the tariff thing. I think everyone is speculating that everything's going to get better and fine. I'm not completely convinced, but it seems to be like it's pretty bullish news. We're going into a moon cycle. I think good things. I think good things because it just lines up with the moon cycle, man. And I think that whether you believe it to be true or not, it seems like they're using it like a playbook, okay? Donald Trump hit Iran on the summer solstice. It just, everything is lining up to the T. Trump threatens Japan with new tariffs, claiming it won't buy America's rice. President Donald Trump is threatening to impose higher tariffs on Japanese exports on the United States over what he claimed is the country's unwillingness to buy American grown rice. They won't take our rice, and yet they have a massive rice shortage. In other words, we'll just be sending them a letter, and we love having them as a trading partner for many years to come, Trump said in the post on Truth Social. Trump's claim that Japan won't take rice from the U.S. isn't true. The country bought 298 million worth of rice from the U.S. last year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau trade between April. Okay, that's old data. Them saying that it's not true. They're talking about what Japan is saying that they're going to do. Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about. This is poor journalism. It's so bad. So bad. They're going off of last year's figures before Trump was even in office, before tariffs. So dumb. Obviously, they're saying what he's trying to say is that they're not going to buy our rice if we don't come up with a deal, if they have to do tariffs. It's ridiculous. However, it's unclear if Japan's officials involved in ongoing trade negotiations between the two countries have said they will stop buying rice from the U.S. in the future. Representatives from Japan's embassy in the U.S. did not immediately respond to CNN. See, there's your answer. I can't stand the media. Why not just tell the truth? Why not say that these figures are irrelevant? I just can't. I can't. Okay, so trade war not planning to extend tariffs after July is what Trump is saying. Obviously, he can do whatever he wants to do. India's trade team extends U.S. stay. President Trump indicated he won't extend the tariff pause beyond July 9th, even as India's delegation extended its stay in Washington to negotiate a trade deal. India seeks exemption from additional tariffs while the U.S. presses the market across in agriculture and other sectors. The U.S. President Donald Trump has said he does not plan to extend the 90-day pause on additional global tariffs beyond July 9th, even as India's trade delegation extended its stay in Washington in a final push to iron out differences before the deadline. The in-person negotiations between India and U.S. officials, initially scheduled to run through June interim trade agreement, Bloomberg reported, quoting officials. India is seeking full exemption from the additional 26% reciprocal tariff announced by the U.S. on April 2nd. While the tariff was suspended for 90 days, the 10% baseline tariff imposed by Washington remains in place. Should negotiations fail to conclude by July 8th, India might encounter renewed tariff pressure. All right? Not out of the woods. And Donald Trump is saying that he's going to be sending out a blanket letter to all these different countries that, hey, this is the tariff. This is what you're going to pay. Don't like it. Don't care. So that could spark retaliatory tariffs so that countries get a chance to actually negotiate. So are we out of the woods yet? No. So, let's see here. Trump tariff live updates. Trump threatens to send Japan new tariffs. Tariff rate EU open to universal tariffs. This is basically reiterating the same thing, but I wanted to show that it's not just one publication because that was a foreign publication. But yeah, all of this stuff is happening, and all you're ever going to hear is the good news. Yeah, Big Baller says the art of the deal. Yes, I agree. And don't forget to click the link if you're watching on Twitch. Sign up for HelloFresh, use my promo code, and get, I believe it's 10 free meals when you sign up for HelloFresh. The link is right there on the Twitch. So give that a little click, sign up, and that helps support the show. And thank you for all of you that donate as well. Much appreciated. If you want to give to the show, the best way to help is to send donations. Or if you want to get something in return, you can buy our hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, stickers. I got my mug right here. So you can actually get something, and that helps with advertisement. You take your coffee mug to work and you're sipping it from it, and they're like, what is that? And you tell them about the show, and next thing you know, there's a new viewer watching. You wear the hoodie, you wear a t-shirt. It helps, you know. And also, signing up for HelloFresh, you gotta eat, right? You gotta eat food. For every person that signs up using my promo code, you're making a $90 donation to the show. And you're getting fresh meals delivered to your door. It's going to make you healthy, okay? Good food. It's going to save you time, money. The cost of food right now is ridiculous. So it's something you're spending money on already. This is a way that you can get something that's going to be good for you, save you time, save you money, and also help support the show. So if you're interested in that, on Twitch at Ozthecryptogoat, all lowercases, no spaces, there's a little link that you can click right there on the screen, and you can use the promo code and sign up and get your free meals and free add-ons for life. I just went to Costco and spent $1,000 for my parents in 30 minutes. I know, right? Food is very expensive. And I'll tell you what, since I've gotten HelloFresh coming here, not all I've lost 50 pounds. I've lost 50 pounds, okay? Just eating better, being active. Obviously, I'm taking the shot or whatever, but there's more to it than that. Like, you have to eat better, right? But you have to eat, and you save money doing it this way, and you save time. Time is money. I'm just saying, it has made my life easy. Markets are gearing up for rate cuts. Morgan Stanley thinks investors will be disappointed. Markets have been clamoring for rate cuts and eyeing the next two Fed meetings as possible windows. But Morgan Stanley analysts predict that the Fed won't be cutting rates in July or September. The market view of rate cuts has brightened after recent dovish commentary. Economists at Morgan Stanley think investors are about to be disappointed in the outcomes of the next two Federal Reserve meetings. I agree with this. The bank said in a note on Friday that despite a recent push from President Donald Trump and recent dovish talk with central banks, the July and September FOMC meeting will result in no change to borrowing costs. And I agree with this because Jerome Powell himself said that he wanted to wait a few months to see what tariffs are going to do, and that he would consider it if there's some trade deals that are made. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Hi, Joe. How are you doing? The Fed's cautious approach this year has sparked backlash from President Trump, who said he believes interest rates need to be cut by at least 2 to 3 points. Big Baller says Jerome Powell is finished a political hack. Well, I'll tell you this right now. Jerome Powell is not part of the federal government, okay? It is a private institution, and he cannot be fired, all right? Cannot be fired by the president. The Federal Reserve, there's nothing federal about it, Fed officials send strong message on interest rate cuts. Whether mortgage rates, student loans, credit card bills, or auto loans, America runs on empty when it comes to post-pandemic interest rates we are paying. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis President CEO Neil Kashkari expects changes ahead in 2025, even though there hasn't been a rate cut all year. Kashkari, in keeping with other economists and market watchers, is keen to see how President Donald Trump wisping tariffs in their co-joined trade war increase inflation or the impact on the jobs market. Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell defended keeping the federal funds rate steady in June per Fed's dual mandate, prudent monetary policy, regulating the money supply that keeps inflation and unemployment relatively low and GDP happily growing along. Kashkari, in comments before the Montana Chamber Foundation in June 26th, described the balancing process similar to a seesaw. The dual mandate is what we're always trying to achieve, Kashkari said. Powell describes the economy as solid, but a wait-and-see forecast is needed until the full impact of the expected tariff prices passes through inflation and employment numbers over the next 3 months. The next 3 months. He said that in June. So September, possibly we will know where it's going to be at. Are we going to get an answer? I think the answer you're going to get is not what you're expecting. Next May, Big Baller says. Yeah, I think they might cut it before that. But I'll tell you what, if the tariff impact actually ends up being a big deal, then yeah, I could see that. If it ends up not, then we'll see. But I think that we haven't even felt the supply chain issues. And that's because the tariffs go on and then they get paused and they just rush too much stuff here and then they go back on. So we haven't really seen the supply chain issue. But I'll tell you what, if things get set in stone and these deals aren't happening so graciously for the U.S., I don't know. Joe, thank you for the heart me. TikTok seller, thank you for the 10 roses. Rihanna, thank you for the rose, the donut, and the heart me. ABSXS writer, thank you for the heart me as well. Simon, thank you for the 25 popular votes. Thank you for all your support. I'm confused. Trump brought in 122 billion from tariffs. Explain to me. So that goes to like the debt. So we're creating money, but at the same time, we're pumping money out into these foreign wars like Ukraine. So we're printing like crazy and sending the money overseas. So until the war in Ukraine is over, inflation is still going up like it was in 2020. When was it? 2022? Whenever the war started, all the massive spending that was going on is still happening. All that inflation is still happening. So even though the national debt is decreasing, the amount of money we're printing is not diminishing. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. Everybody double tap. Everybody hashtag FYP in the chat. Send in those gifts. Who's got me with a money gun? Let's see if we can get a money gun. We've made about $5.90. Those are rookie numbers. We need to bump those numbers up. We're at 31K likes. Those are rookie numbers. We need to bump those numbers up. If you want to give to the show, you can always send a donation. You can send gifts. But if you can't afford to give, no worries. All you got to do is just keep hitting the like button. Send, a share to one of your friends to help get the viewership up. Neo, thank you for the money gun. Much appreciated. We're gonna do a little bit something here. These community crowns, by the way, these are really good for the algorithm right now because we're in Community Fest. So they really pump the show. And that's the main thing right here is I want to get viewership for the show. Hi, Francesca. How are you? Francesca, thank you for the heart me, and Neo, thank you for the money gun. Much appreciated. So I'm gonna pin these community fests right here. These are what we need to start getting. Big Baller, thank you for the ranking crown. Much appreciated. Francesca, thank you for the community crown as well. So those community crowns help with the algorithm exponentially. And also there's the other community fest ones, but the community crown one really pushes out the show. We were getting a lot of those the other night, and we had like over 100 people watching the show. It was quite spectacular. I got to put the rage bait back up here. So XRP's dead. Changed my mind. Is it dead right now? No. But it's dying. It's losing its utility. It's losing its purpose. All right. When you and Josh go back and forth was the most viewers. Yeah, Josh and I's conversations always bring the viewership up because it's not an echo chamber. We're arguing about, not arguing, but discussing, about XRP mainly, but like issues, and we have different views, and we're bringing all that to light. Musk shreds Trump's tax bill as debt slavery, vows to unset Republicans. Oh, wait, this is old. I don't know how this wound up on here. Senators hunker down for a long day of votes on Trump's big bill of tax breaks and spending cuts. It's funny how they word that. Okay? Because they're not all spending cuts. I'll tell you that right now. One of their things would make ICE the largest police or biggest funded police whatever in the country. It would just be massive. A lot of spending in this thing. But it's funny how they word it as just tax breaks and spending cuts. No. This is pork filled. Pork filled, baby. This is an omnibus. This is an omnibus budget bill, okay? And this is what we need to get away from. They put these huge omnibus bills in order to hide certain things that they want to get done, and it's just disgusting. I think bills should be created individually. I know that's more work for, the senators and congressmen, speakers, or whatever their title is, right? But isn't that their job? Don't they make more money than we do? And they just never want to do their job, right? Can't we just do things more individually? And they're like, oh, well, that would slow things down. Great. Can we legislate things a lot less? Can't tap the points in the fan club. What? For real? That's not good. Man, I gotta take these headphones off for a little bit. Let's see here. Let's watch this real quick. Oh, it's gonna be a stupid ad. I try to watch the ads before, and when they go stagnant for a while, they like reload.
Republicans over their signature tax breaks and spending cut plan that included at least one GOP senator saying they would no longer seek re-election after a public spat with President Donald Trump. The lawmakers have now decided that they are going to proceed with a marathon series of amendments known as a vote-a-thon. So what is a vote-a-thon? In essence, it's an endurance test for lawmakers, where senators are allowed to propose an unlimited number of amendments to this bill. In theory, it could go on forever, though senators have said that they predict that it's going to take about 12 to 15 hours to get through the process.
I mean, this is called a vote-a-rama for a reason, so we're about ready to walk in the Thunderdome. I don't know how many there are going to be.
Democrats are saying that they're going to submit amendments on issues such as health care, tax cuts for the wealthy, and potential cuts to social programs and environmental
I sure
programs.
hope they take out
Whereas
the AI
some
thing
conservative
in there.
Republicans have said that they're going to propose amendments that would extend or deepen the cuts to some programs and also tackle issues such as the deficit. Whereas some more moderate Republicans have said that they've raised issues in the amendment process on policies such as rural hospitals. But even after this lengthy amendment process, the bill only has a narrow pathway to passage after two GOP senators have said that it's dead on arrival with them. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky has said that he will never vote for raising the debt ceiling, which means that he cannot support the bill in its current form. Meanwhile, Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina has said that the cuts to Medicaid in the bill at the moment are too steep for his state. The goal all along has been to get this sweeping package to President Trump's desk by July 4th. Though even after the Senate potentially passes this bill, it will have to go back to the House, where House Speaker Mike Johnson will have to make the case to some moderate Republicans to support the bill, even after a number of changes to social programs and tax cuts.
All right. Alrighty, righty. And let's talk about this. Are we pumping or dumping? I think we get a bit of a dump, probably 2.15, and then we pump again, or we break down to $2 on XRP. But I feel a little bit bullish. XRP is obviously going to get the end of the month dump, beginning of the month dump. But overall, I think things look bullish. This on Bitcoin could potentially be a bull flag. I think it's more or less it could come down one more time and then go. But if this is a bull flag on Bitcoin, everything is going to follow it. So we shall see. Bull flags are generally like this. Like this is a bull flag right here. But if this is a bull flag, this is a massive bull flag, sending it up to like 220 or more. Maybe 220, or excuse me, 120 or like 125. But there's a potential for this to happen first before it goes. And I'm kind of leaning towards that. It'll probably move down. And then this will be, what, July 4th would be the date. That seems about right. This is what I'm thinking. July 4th, July 5th. We come down one last time, one last dip before a big pump with Bitcoin, which would send everything else. And that kind of lines up with what Ethereum's doing, where Ethereum looks like it's about to pump and then it would get a pullback. And then this looks bearish. This looks like by September, Ethereum's going to be toasty to the mosty. But this could be wrong. But this is a diamond top for sure. But XRP, this is a descending channel, and it looks like we broke out, but we hit a triple top here. I think this is a bull trap. This is a bull trap, in my opinion. And it could go to 215 and then take off from there. And that would take it to like 247, 248. But we'll have to wait and see. And it could potentially do more. From there, it could, get a bit of a pullback and then finally break that 250 and then just keep going. We shall see. But I have a feeling that we're probably going to break down. Here's another thing is we had this inverted head and shoulders. It basically played out. But what if this happens? What if this is a head and shoulders? That would send the price right back down to $2 to 95 cents. And that would be July 12th. It doesn't really line up with the moon cycle, though. We shall see. All right, and then another bit of news. This is a bit off topic, but I felt like it was kind of what's going on right now. So this happened over the weekend, and I wanted to cover it. There's some breaking news happening with this whole thing, but we'll watch and go through how this has progressed. So multiple firefighters reportedly shot while responding to fire near this place in Idaho.
Breaking news. And we are cutting into programming this afternoon for live breaking news of an active shooter situation targeting firefighters in North Idaho. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm John Webb. Here's what we know at this hour. It all started at 1:30 this afternoon after investigators say a fire was set on purpose. We know multiple firefighters were shot. The total number at this point we cannot confirm. We did talk with the chief, Pat Riley, at Northern Lakes Fire District, who said it sounds like multiple gunshot
Francesca,
wounds to
thank
the
you
chest.
for the popular
Their
votes.
injuries at this point
Big
are
Baller, thank you
unknown.
for the
It's happening
community
in
crown.
East
Francesca,
Nettleton
thank you
Gulch
for the
Road
community crown.
area. This is just to the east of Coeur d'Alene High School and to the north of the Ponderosa golf course there in that area. We know a heavy law enforcement presence scene is there. We saw law enforcement from Washington heading there. We saw SWAT from Spokane County Sheriff's Office heading there as well. Our own crews got to the scene just moments ago. Nonstop Local Giera Cottingham joining us live right now from Coeur d'Alene. Giera, what are you seeing and what are you learning from law enforcement tonight?
Yeah, John, since our team has arrived, there has been just multiple cops driving up and down 15th Street. We've talked with neighbors already who have been here since the scene got louder. And we were told, like you said, a fire was started, fire crews went to that fire, and then all of a sudden shots broke out and shots were aimed towards those firefighters, and then law enforcement came as well, and they were also shot at. So we're told there is an active shooter out here in Coeur d'Alene. Cops are looking for that active shooter up and down. We're not necessarily entirely sure where that shooter went, but we do behind me see a life flight helicopter behind us that could be prepping for